There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Welcome to episode 66 of the Program Guys podcast. I am once again, unfortunately, not Mason Prince, but I am sort of replacement Mark Hall, joined with you as always by Patrick Hertzberger, Ryan Tyson, and Matt Gann. Boys, we were just talking about Matt's impending trip to California to see Patrick. It's coming up. I'm not going to give dates, but Matt is flying out there at 6:30 a.m. on a Sunday after dinner plans with his girlfriend's friends. Matt, question for you. Why?
I'm not sure why you're
First
asking.
of all,
why
hold on. I just
Why
want to
6:30?
Well, he wants to come see me. Get the whole
listeners need
Sunday
to know
afternoon.
that this was a secret trip that was planned between Pat and Matt.
Yeah,
None of us
the
knew about
program
it.
wasn't invited.
None of us knew about
We
it.
didn't know until Matt booked the
We
trip.
didn't catch the
For
invite.
himself.
It's okay.
It was Gann's annual trip to California alone,
That's right.
I guess.
It's like the Mecca to Patrick. Like he's just got to make a pilgrimage to Pat.
I told Mark like the next day when we played Fortnite, but I think he told you the night he booked.
Yeah.
Just come to see my boy. Just come to see the program guy. You know what I
Just
mean?
hanging out for a
I
week.
leave
Okay,
at
but-
6:30. I get there at 7:30. What more can you want?
Is
Good point with the time
Is
change.
Patrick picking you up? Because Patrick, when do you get back from Houston?
Saturday.
Okay, so you're gonna have like
6 hours
okay.
I
without
mean,
him.
it is called Uber, so we'll figure it out. That's all.
No, come in the day
Unbelievable.
before. It'll be great. It'll be a good time. I'm excited.
I can't wait to hear more about it. Ryan, we missed you last week. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. I got sick last week, guys. I'm sorry. So I'm feeling much better. Feeling much better this week. So good to go.
How much longer do we have you, Ryan?
As in like
Before you go on your trip? Are you going to be able to
yes.
afford on
So
your trip?
I thought you were being like it was going to be like an existential like question of like how much
Like,
longer you.
I've
could be.
heard
like,
His wedding's in December.
I've
so,
heard you're dying. Let me know.
Yeah, it's
Man.
like actually we have something to tell the listeners.
We got dying
No.
Ryan on the line.
From what I know, listeners, I am not dying. Hopefully, I do have a doctor's appointment in July, and I'm sure I'll figure out, run some tests, figure out if I'm alive or not. Yes, I am headed to Europe on this Thursday, so I will not be with you guys next week, but I should be back for the following week if everything goes according to plan. So
Ooh,
that is my plan.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
Well-
so you'll miss me for 1 week, but you won't miss me that much because Mason will be back and everything will be beautiful again. Vivid colors,
I can't. You know what we need to do? And we should have. Well, it's Mason's honeymoon, right? Ryan, we need like the Program Guy Chronicles in Europe. Just like an ongoing series.
You guys
that
need like a blog post like every day. Like this is what the program guys got up to. Or should I take like the slides with me and just take pictures like in front of large objects or large murals or the Mona Lisa
should do
or
that.
anything like
Let's
that?
Let's see what Hype Shoes has to say about that before we
Hype
start
Shoes
just
is going to be
doing it.
like, no, don't want that.
It's like, yeah, we don't know how much the French OU market really like overlaps. We're not sure.
Probably not a lot, but
You should
I
take the
will.
slide. You should take the high shoe slides to the Eiffel Tower. Are you going to Paris too, or just
Yeah,
London?
I'm going to London and Paris.
Nothing
Yeah.
better than a night in Paris with a bottle of wine and a baguette for dinner, sitting outside the Eiffel Tower during sunset. There's literally nothing better. Than
Listeners, the
I'm
amount of times
confident
that
there's more
Patrick has
things
said
better
that.
than that.
that. There's not.
It is though. It's a
If I
common
had like
refrain
one
with
night to
Patrick.
live, I'd be sitting in front of the Eiffel Tower with baguette and bottle of wine with friends.
What about like cheese? Do you throw cheese in there?
Sure, but you don't have to if you're just
You don't
being
have
cheap.
to?
Just get a
Yeah.
baguette.
Just a baguette.
Yeah. Well, that's all
I'm
great.
gonna.
That's great.
Now,
Matt's
Pat,
ready to be
how
gone.
are you doing? We've already heard from Ryan. Pat, how are
I'm
you?
good. I'm good, man. I'm good. Ryan mentioned July, which made me start thinking about recruiting because our recruiting class, they don't really start committing at OU until June, July, August. with Brent Venables'
Wow.
philosophies. So let's start
that-
getting into the recruits.
Do I smell a segue?
Yeah, you see that segue?
Took my
That was
segue.
Gan is so pissed.
Gan, what was your segue going to be? Because that was all right, right?
Well,
That was my
gonna
first
say-
segue
I
on
was
the
going to say,
podcast, though.
well, I was going to say, since Tyson's going to Europe, in Europe they call it football, but we call it football. Speaking of, look at this recent commitment we just got. Something
Oh
like
my
that.
God.
But you know,
Patrick's
That's
was
pretty
better.
good.
but Pat, yours is better. But let's talk about it because
That segue was longer than that Fast and Furious track where they just kept on driving.
The airplane.
we
And
got
the airplane never takes off.
Right. Just like
let's
Matt's
dive in,
segue.
guys. Let's dive into it. 2024 coming off with a QB commit, Michael Hawkins. 2024.
I was wrong.
What do you guys think of this commit as he was choosing between us and TCU? What do you guys think?
My first question is, Gan, how are you? Are you okay? Is
That's
this
a win-win for me.
is
it's a
this
win-win for
like
me.
is this a tough situation for you?
I don't know. You were throwing up horn frogs last week.
Yeah.
I don't know if it really
Well,
is.
the Horn Frogs recently got their own QB commit. So
Yeah, who's worse?
that kind
Some
of
3-star, right?
right, which
Patrick, who's worse?
I mean, he is. He's just demonstrably
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah, that's why he was waiting for a sign from TCU for Michael Hawkins to commit to OU, and then TCU called him up and was like, "Hey, the guy who's better than you is not coming anymore. Feel free to come in."
What's his name, Matt?
I had it down. I'm not sure who the guy. I'll have to look it up. I'll get back to you.
Mhm.
He had a very similar build to Michael Hawkins, though. It seemed like a very similar player.
Just not as good.
I'm pretty sure I thought this guy looked goofy. And if you're a quarterback, you have a hard time looking goofy, you know?
But anyway,
Like who?
back to
How
Michael
s-
Hawkins.
Andrew
We've already.
How's
Is it Andrew
Haney?
Luck? Is it Andrew Luck's like
No,
I'm just
I
saying
mean-
he looks
doppelganger?
goofy, right?
Oh, this guy, hey, he's got veiny arms.
There you go.
The picture
Mark,
doesn't really. Yeah,
What's
go
his
ahead.
name?
I just said it. It's like House Haney.
House Haney.
HAUSSHEJNY, commits to TCU, and then go to his Twitter.
HOUSS. Pat, is that German?
HAUSS.
Oh, HUAUSS. That's got to be German. right?
Anyways,
Right.
Michael Hawkins, though. Very excited we got Michael Hawkins. I
Way
feel
better
like
than this kid.
similarly to last year when we got Jackson Arnold as one of our first recruits. I think he might have been the first recruit. He really started to form that 2020 second recruit as well. Yeah, he really started to form that 2023 recruiting class. Same thing happening here. Quarterback, the second person we recruit to start forming the 2024 recruiting class. And I couldn't be more excited. It's Michael Hopkins. I think he is going to be awesome, or at least a very good backup to Jackson Arnold while he's at OU.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super jazzed about this. I think it's great. We got our 2023, we got our 2024, we got our 2025. Like we're set up right now going in the SEC quarterback wise, which is really great news. I genuinely do not know if Michael Hawkins will ever see the field. Not sure about that. Like that is a bunch of things that can lead up to that in a bunch of different ways. But I love that he's, committed here now, and he already seems to be like on the recruiting trail for us on Twitter, at least talking to other people, trying to get him to come to OU. So I love that. I'm excited about it. And I think it's a great pickup.
The timing of it is kind of interesting because everyone sort of considered the commitment of Jeremiah Newcomb on March 25th to be sort of a surprise, right? We were a little caught off guard by that. You can definitely see how the plan has been build this class around Michael Hawkins because there's a ton of talent in the DFW area all throughout Texas. And frankly, looking at Devon Mitchell, who's been crystal balled to OU more times than anyone out in California, but he plays on the same 7-on-7 team with Michael Hawkins, right? It seems clear to me that they wanted to build this class around Mike, and I'm very intrigued by his talent. The more that I sit on it and think about it, it's more like, okay, after Jackson Arnold's time, doesn't have to be Kevin Sperry. Just because he committed first doesn't mean he's like some sort of incumbent. Michael Hawkins is the incumbent. And if he can grow and add some weight to his frame and read the field the way that Jeff Levy wants him to, he's the one that goes in with a built-in advantage, not Kevin Sperry coming in a year later. So Hey, who knows? I think, like Patrick said, he'll be a great backup at the very least, and maybe there's some more upside than we've been giving him potential for. I'm really glad I was wrong on this, guys. I'm really glad. Matt, are you done licking the wounds of your horned frog legs and ready to give us comment?
No, definitely am. I think that was my biggest worry for Michael Hawkins was because of the Kevin Sperry commitment for 2025 that would maybe deter Michael Hawkins, but clearly that hasn't. And this gives us really good QB depth, like Tyson mentioned, going into the SEC. Again, if Jackson Arnold is the guy that everyone says he is, he's getting a lot of praise in camp from BB and a lot of the other coaching staff. Man, having some QB depth behind him and building the classes around these guys, that's huge because QBs are the people. They are the focal point of pretty much every college football team. And to have a commit like that early on to recruit others, that's a huge deal. I was checking his Twitter page out. He was definitely tagging a bunch of guys in there as well. So hopefully the dominoes will start falling for the 2024 recruiting class as we head into the summer and media days.
Yeah, completely agree. Pat, you're on mute.
Cool. Also, was one thing to mention, we're still not done recruiting 2024 quarterbacks. We're also still in the running for Samaj Jones. He visits OU in June, which would make 2 quarterbacks coming in for the 2024 class. I think Samaj Jones is also a 4-star.
He's from where? Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Hawkins is the number 19th best QB in the country. So Samaj comes in at 22nd. So they're not like far apart from each other.
Not far apart, but
ranking-wise.
we've been investing in Hawkins for
We have.
quite a while. It's a little interesting to see that they might bring in another body there.
Yeah.
Getting into some of who might be filling out that 2024 recruiting class, there were several crystal balls this week that might be interesting. One of them is, like I said before, 2025, probably going to be 2024 tight end Devon Mitchell. He's 6'4", 245 out of Los Alamitos High School. Used to be playing in Allen with Michael Hawkins. This crystal ball comes courtesy of Steve Wiltfong, the director of football recruiting for Steve 247. 247, or I think that he is.
Or on 3, or
is it? It's on 3 or it's 247. It's one of the two.
Or it might be rivals.
Either way,
he's a
Steve's
good. Either way, Steve's good.
Steve knows his shit.
This is the kind of body that we just simply have not had since, like he's more athletic than Mark Andrews. This is Jermaine Gresham shit. Do y'all have anything on Devon Mitchell?
I mean, just that like he's been crystal ball multiple times to us, right? And now that Hawkins is here, this has been the main person he's been tweeting. It's like, just come play with us, you know the move, all this kind of stuff. So it looks like everything's falling into place this way. I do know that he's like right now classified as 25 and he is going to reclassify as 24, or so the Twitterverse says that's what's going to happen. So like I'm interested to see like how that plays out, and if like his ranking shifts and he's not a 5-star anymore, he shifts down to 4-star. Like this dude, just based on his build and like what I've seen, looks like a crazy athlete, and I am never gonna say no to a crazy athlete. So love this for us, and really just like want him to like pull the trigger and like get this thing going.
Yeah, I talked about another podcast as well, that we just haven't had a dominant tight end probably since Mark Andrews, and similar build, similar skill set. This guy would fit right into what Oklahoma wants to do, is have another guy, big body on the offensive line, helping run block, but also can get out and make catches for us. We just haven't had that type of tight end for a long time, or at least the past few years. So he would fit right in to what we're looking for.
I just realized his high school's 5 miles away from me, so maybe I'll go to a game this fall.
Check him out, man.
Yeah,
check him out.
Check him out with the bucket hat on and
boots on the ground.
He went to Los Alamitos just for 1 year, right?
Right.
Like that's kind of the plan, is that he's there for a year.
So apparently California has pretty liberal rules around reclassifying. So he's a 2025 prospect, but California will allow you to reclassify to 2025 or to
that's
2024 pretty quickly. So yeah, that's the plan for him. As it's been relayed to me on every podcast that I listen to.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, I hope we get him. I think comparing him to Mark Andrews is a huge feat. I think Mark Andrews is a top 1 tight end in the NFL right now. So I'm not going to compare him to Mark Andrews yet, but it would be wild if we got this guy.
I don't think that's accurate, but okay.
Moving on, another 2024 crystal ball wide receiver, Isaiah McMorris, 6 foot 168, not very thick, out of Bellevue West High School in Nebraska. This comes courtesy of Ryan Wallace, a Kansas State insider. I don't know anything about this guy, but he's on the smaller side, and I like when we get the bigger guys.
The next
analysis there.
Sure. The next wide receiver that we're going to talk about is an inch smaller, but to stay positive with Isaiah Morris, I did watch some of his highlights. He's very shifty. He can break tackles. He's fast. He runs a lot of the same routes that Jebby likes to run, which is unfortunately like jet sweeps.
Wait, did you say Jebby?
Did we start Jebby just now?
Well, I said Jeff Levy. Well,
no, you did.
Jebby.
Oh
my
no,
God,
you said Jebby. Did you start something? You just started something.
All right, we're talking about Jebby.
Anyways, he can also really go up in like the back of the end zone and grab the ball. I liked what I saw out of him.
I love the fact that he's from Nebraska. I know this is like a really weird thing, but like the fact that geographically we are still going to like Nebraska's close to Oklahoma, don't get me wrong, but we are taking from like different areas of the country. You know, we've talked about someone in California. Granted, he was basically an Allen, but went to California to reclassify. Nebraska, we've talked about a few people from Kansas and Missouri already. Like I like the draw of recruiting people from all over the country, especially as we're going into the SEC. We'll see what happens with Isaiah. I mean, he's 3-star now. Yeah, he's on the smaller side. Can we get him in, build some of that, add some weight to him and see where we go from there? I'm not gonna say no to a talented wide receiver.
Matt, hitting on Ryan's point about us going into, I want to say specifically Kansas, Nebraska, some of these Midwest states. What do you think about, Oklahoma is sort of asserting itself as the program for states like that. Nebraska hasn't built itself back up. Kansas, they're losing 5 stars out of state every single year. Why not come to Oklahoma? And those Big Ten programs aren't really capitalizing on it. What do you think? Seems like we're kind of owning the Midwest.
Mark, we talked about this on other podcasts, how OU, why we are able to recruit at the level we do is because we are a blue blood of college football. The standards matter when it comes to achieving excellence year in and year out. And that's what Oklahoma does. There's a reason why we produce so many All-American, Heisman winners, national championship trophies. And BV, I think, has already set a lot of examples coming in the first 2 years with his recruiting classes, being able to pick into different states with these highly recruited guys and being in the running and even capturing a lot of these guys as well. And another guy that OU is also looking after, I know it's for 2025, but 4-star Grayson Harris, 5'10", 170. I think this is where the coaching staff, who you hire, matters, and why Emmett Jones is going to be a complementary piece because of all of his high school Texas connections. This guy's coming out of Ennis, Texas. So we know Texas is going – Ennis.
Are you all right?
Thank you, Mark, for
funny
hosting.
Sounding one, so
for sure.
Go ahead.
But his connections through Texas, and Texas is such a stomping ground for 4-star, 5-star, high-level recruits, and already he's putting his stamp on the recruiting classes coming up. So his connections are just going to be absolutely vital, especially when we go to the SEC and have to compete with Texas A&M, these other schools who are coming after Texas prospects. So if he can continue kind of his network in Texas, continue to recruit at a high level, I mean, this Grayson Harrison guy out of Enos, Texas, would be a good example of why we brought him in the first place.
I do just want to say that for Isaiah McMorris, he's from Bellevue, Nebraska, which is, I just checked on Google Maps, 14 minutes from where Jordy Ball is from. So got to get her in there and start recruiting, you know?
I mean, it just speaks to it, right? We're the place you go to. It's not K-State, it's not Kansas, it's not Nebraska. You come a little bit south. You come.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Nebraska would let anybody out of state. Like, we talk all the time about letting people from Oklahoma out of state.
Well, rules going to make it harder.
You can't do that. Rules absolutely going to make it harder. But like letting anybody out right now can be seen as like, oh, well, just recruiting's not strong enough there for that home team. So
seems to me it's the SEC draw because we weren't always,
Absolutely.
I mean, we weren't always getting, Isaiah McMorris is a 3-star guy, but we just pulled Caden Green, PJ Adebore out of Kansas, right? Both of those guys. Those are guys that if they were in Oklahoma and left Oklahoma, we would be kicking ourselves. Pat, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Love
one last thing on Grayson Harris, though.
That's music to Mark's ears.
Back to Grayson Harris, though, for a second. He seems very fast. Like he moves well, but he also got an offer to play baseball at the University of Oklahoma. So not I don't know how many schools are doing that.
Kyler Murray special.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's cool to see that Brent is comfortable allowing those guys the opportunity to double dip a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for sure. We talked about offensive tackle, Bennett Warren.
We did not.
No, we haven't. I'm looking at this. Did someone actually crystal ball this,
him?
Or is it just he's leading in the on 3? Because if it's either way, Bennett Warren, guys, 6'7", 330, and OU
massive.
Recently took a visit to Oklahoma. He's a massive dude, framed to put on even more weight. I don't know much about Bennett Warren specifically, but just the guys that Bedenbaugh is recruiting these days, I love it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man, it's what happens when you see a bunch of NFL people get paid a lot of money playing position of offensive tackle at the University of Oklahoma. And it's like, oh, yeah, I want to do that. I want to make a lot of money. So what better recruiting tool is there? Like, that's what we've been pushing. I've seen it over Twitter. I've seen it on socials, We're making it very, very clear that the people who played for Bill at our level at OU have gotten paid money in the NFL, and that's huge. So, love it.
Do you guys think it'll be possible to compare Bill's recruiting classes with BV and Levy to Lincoln's? Or they're just always great? Like, I don't know, because I think Levy's got to have some kind of factor in this too. Levy's a great recruiter. Offensive lineman guy.
Yeah.
Maybe better than Lincoln was. So I don't know. I think that jury's still out on it, but it's possible that we get better guys.
It is that some of the guys, all 5 starters that one year played NFL ball, got drafted.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that we'll ever have a season where something like that necessarily happens, but we're recruiting really well.
Yeah.
Which is like a position that we need right now. So like this is like really good news in my mind is like, yes, we've kind of been a little lower on the talent wise. I mean, if you take out like Anton Harrison, who's probably going to go first round this year.
Morris will be like a 3rd-round pick.
I guess that's true. But like it feels like we were less talented this past year. And maybe that's just me being like factually incorrect, but like that was the feeling that you got like on the field when you were watching like them play ball. And it still like is a prime position for us to recruit, and we're still recruiting. And I don't see that, from what I can tell with what Bill is kind of building and what he's continuing to build, it doesn't seem to be going down in quality based on these recruits that we're looking at right now, which is great news.
Feels like it's going up, and you hear every day that like Caden Green is looking awesome, taking advantage of Walter Rouse's absence in spring ball and just taking the ball and running with it. Another guy who's going to be taking the ball and running straight to Los Angeles. USC has announced the hire of senior offensive football analyst Cliff Kingsbury, because what do you do when you have a hat? You put a hat on it. And Lincoln Riley hiring his buddy to come and help him coach the Heisman winning quarterback. Thoughts, guys? I guess they needed offensive help. I'm
shocked because I don't see it working out either.
I'm not really shocked because of like the Texas Tech connection, and then the Cliff was supposed to go to USC as the offensive coordinator before he went to the Cardinals, right? Yeah. So like there probably was still ties there just through that.
What is Cliff getting out of this though? I don't know what Cliff's getting.
He's probably getting paid a lot of money to do pretty much nothing.
He doesn't need it.
Rehabilitation. That's the whole thing. Is like, oh, hey, last time we saw you were losing a lot of games in the NFL. Here you can come be a coach for Caleb Williams. In your next interview, you can talk about it with whoever you're being interviewed by, and bang, you're an OC again. Bang, you're a head coach again. That's what he gets out of it.
I think he could have been an OC somewhere else easily.
Yeah, then he doesn't get to coach Lincoln Riley and do less work.
I
coach
think
with Lincoln Riley. Sorry,
like it's pretty much like guaranteed success. Pretty much. I mean, like if you think about it, like you're coaching Caleb Williams, who is going to be the best player on the field next year
every time.
Like every time he plays, he's not going to have to coach him. It's just going to be like, yeah, just go out there and do your thing, right? Like because that's what he does. And it's an easy job. He's probably getting paid a lot of money. It brings back his image, just like Mark said, because right now he's kind of in a bad place because of what happened with Arizona and like how he screwed that up with like Kyler Murray and everything like that. And like last time we spoke to him, he was just like, I'm going to Thailand and I'm not coming back. And then he just like shows up and he's like, yeah, I'm on staff at USC. So I think it's weird. I think it's a ploy for, like, in my opinion, I think they're probably setting up Cliff to take over Riley's position probably after he leaves in the next year or so. A conspiracy Tyson. I don't see why he would go to USC unless it was that, other than like, you know, everything we've talked about around, maybe I'm disproving myself right now, but like, you know, how easy the job is. But like, there's got to be something else. And I am a firm believer that Lincoln will not be there for very long. So, yeah, I don't know. I think the whole thing's weird, but you know, whatever. That team has a lot of defensive issues.
I also kind of think Lincoln won't be there long term. It's such a cop-out, soft boy move out of Cliff Kingsbury to go and coach with a guy coaching the same offense that you run and not really picking up anything or having to show up to work every day because you just know it. Wouldn't he be such a better coach if he had gone and coached with like the Bills or the Dolphins or the Falcons in the NFL? Just analyst shit, like same stuff he's going to be doing, but picking up on a different style of offense than just, hey, the same thing I've been doing forever and ever that Lincoln is just better at. It's so soft.
I also think it's these two downfall. Like both of their downfall is like, I don't think they're willing to go anywhere else or learn anything else. This is what their style is going to be moving forward, and they don't want to learn anything else.
Yeah, it's tough. Hey, speaking of two guys meeting up in LA who both used to coach in the Big 12, we got a question out of one of the favorite listeners, I'd say, program guy Ryan Heil. This is the segue to that segment.
Full of segues today, guys.
Yeah, I know. We're kind of like, I'm not great at this, but question is, what will we miss about the Big 12? And he says something. He says, and why is it nothing? Matt, what do you think? I'm not sure it's nothing.
I don't think it's nothing. I think we've had some great competition, some great rivalries against Kansas State, against TCU, against Baylor in the years past. So I think those games will definitely be missed. Obviously, we're taking Texas with us, so we'll always have the Red River down in the Cotton Bowl. But I think playing the teams we've had for so long, the atmospheres, I think the stadiums will always be better. We're playing against better components every year, but it also is going to mean potentially more losses every year as well, which I think Sooner fans are going to have the expectations for the first 3 to 4 years that things probably aren't going to go as well as we hoped, especially since we're not playing a Kansas or an Iowa State every week. So, I get it's all for money at the end of the day, but the Big 12 gave us opportunities to potentially get in the playoffs every year. Even with it being expanded and all that, I get all the arguments, but I am going to miss the games against the Baylors, against the TCUs, even going up to Ames and playing against Iowa State. Those games were all good. I enjoyed the competition of it, but the Big 12 gave us a better chance to get into the playoffs this year or every year. So that's why I liked about it, especially with the new teams coming in, BYU, Cincinnati, UCF. These are all teams that have had big upset wins and bowl games the last few years, so no opportunities to really set a year in and year out game with them. So,
Mark, I don't know if you can hear us, but you are frozen. Oh,
there we go.
Yeah, you're frozen. So you're still a little frozen. That's okay though. I'm going to go ahead and talk. Gan, I'm not going to miss playing a single team in the Big 12 at all. They're not fun teams to watch. They're not fun places to go. Mark, you're good now. They're just not iconic like the SEC is. But so from that perspective, I'm not going to miss it. But I'm going to miss winning almost every single game. And I am a proponent of staying in the Big 12 to win every single game. With the playoffs not expanding, we could have been really screwed, in my opinion. And seen less success in the playoffs, or gone to the playoffs less, not less success in the playoffs. I believe if we're there, we're going to have a really good shot with BV. But in general, if we had stayed in the Big 12 too, we probably could have gotten a higher seed than where we're going to land in the SEC, which is also maybe disappointing, could bite us in the butt in the future. I don't know. I wish we would have stayed in the Big 12. Call me soft, call me whatever. But it was nice to win 6 of the last 8 conference titles.
I think that's what we're going to miss the most is that run of success.
Yeah.
Because it's the only thing about the Big 12 that has really been great. At first, it was just like the end of Bob, right? And now we're looking back at a run of unprecedented success. Same time, recruiting has taken a massive uptick. I don't know how you can call it anything else. And I think that is based highly on the fact that we can go into a household and say we're playing in the SEC. And it's not the on-the-field product that's getting us there. I'm going to continue to think it's a good move and that we are going to rise with the tides on this one.
Yeah, I mean, that is what all the Aggies say too, though, with the recruiting thing. And I just have to play devil's advocate there.
Sure, they're in the same state as Texas.
Yeah.
We're not. We're a little more north. We're not.
No, I'm just saying they have great recruiting classes. We're going to have
but the Aggies have never had success. Never.
They have Jimbo. We have Brent. Oh my
they've
gosh.
never
I
seen,
agree with
never
that.
seen success. So they don't even know what it tastes like.
They still think it was a good decision because they get top recruiting classes. Like they still think that was a good move for them.
They
and look at the success.
Oh, the SEC thing.
Yeah,
sure.
Aggies think it was a great move. And I don't understand how you can look at the numbers and then think that at the same time.
Well,
the Aggies are not
numbers they're looking at are the ones in the checkbook, and that's been a great call.
There's a straight up reason that the Aggies are the only team in the SEC that did not want OU and Texas to come in. That to me says all I need to know about Texas A&M and their future success and their current success in the SEC. It's something different. I think it's completely different than what OU and Texas are going to experience. Maybe not at first, but eventually.
I don't think Texas is going to I don't know. It's not. I don't trust Sark, but
yeah,
that's the bigger thing there. Their recruiting hasn't seen a massive uptick. It's just the same that Texas has always been, right? Matt,
one quick thing.
Sarked up.
Yeah, I think just one quick thing that we all forget is that every year the Big 12 championship is right down the road from the Dallas Crew in Arlington, Texas.
I'm gonna miss that.
World. It's no longer going to be there now. It will be in Mark's favorite hometown, his home city. Atlanta, Georgia, because that's where the SEC championship is. But that's pretty far away from here. So the convenience of having the Cotton Bowl against Texas, and then just a few months down the road going over to the Big 12 championship in Jerry World, no longer going to be there. And I miss those times. I went every single year and never lost when OU played. So I'm going to miss that place. A lot of winning.
I can't wait until my brother has to host all the program guys in Atlanta when we go to a conference championship. And we're all going to be like 30. And we're like, can we crash with you?
Hey, I turned 30 this year. Okay, let's chill.
I know. Just saying. We're all going to be.
Be like, Mark, can we do Fireball here? What's the
Are you good with that? Are you okay with
the policy on that?
I'm just hoping that I start to have a better relationship with the Atlanta stadium. Atlanta Stadium in general, because the only time that I've been
down a different road,
not fun. Wait, what would you guys think I was going to say?
I thought we were
Just
going
the way you said it. I just didn't know you were going with it.
Anyway, whatever. I think that I'm going to miss the proximity of like the Big 12 championship. That's a really good point, Gan. I'm going to miss winning, but I also think that, what we've seen is this success that we've seen is awesome, but it didn't really get us to our goal, and it didn't really get us to like the end of like what we're actually looking for and what we're actually wanting, which is an actual like a national championship, not just a conference championship. And if moving to the SEC can get us there, because we are going to be week in and week out playing the best people and, conditioning in the best manner and getting our facilities up to the best they possibly can be, I think that's the right move. And plus the school gets more money out of it. So like, to me, I think this is a good decision. Are we going to like it the first couple years because we're probably going to get our ass kicked more than we're expecting? Probably not. But I think it's a process, and we have to trust BV, and we have to trust Joe, and we just have to see the process through.
Yeah.
I feel that. Well, guys, we've talked a lot of OU football. We've talked a lot of USC. I'm not sure why, but it's my favorite segment. So I'm going to segue to my own segment. Let's talk about some other OU sports and circle the wagons. So let me just get it started here with a big congratulations to OU women's basketball, Maddie Williams, who last night in the WNBA draft got selected 18th overall to the Seattle Storm. So big congrats to Maddie Williams. She had a monstrous season for the Lady Sooners and Jenny. So congrats to her. Wish her the best luck. She is the 15th Lady Sooner to be drafted to the WNBA. So congratulations to her. Moving on to other women's sports.
How long has the WNBA been around?
Well, there's been at least 15. I think early, I want to say at least 2000, maybe
it's 90s. I think it's the 90s.
Somewhere in the 90s.
So 15 is not very good.
96.
But they also have less teams, so less players in the WNBA in total, right, than the typical NBA. But it's still, because there's not many people.
Hey, Pat, whose side are you on?
What?
You mean not very much? 15 is great.
Oh, by that. Yeah, that's not very much.
That's pretty much one lady a year gets drafted. That's not bad.
I think there's 12.
Way less than that, actually. But that's all right. It happens.
Half a lady sooner every year.
I think
that's what I'm saying. It's not that
teams.
great. Like, that's not a very good number.
Okay, let's not try to devalue.
Yeah, why are you disparaging the program?
Sorry. Continue.
Good luck to Maddie Williams. Moving on to women's tennis, who continue to improve. They are now 16-8. They beat the Lady Cowgirls last weekend, who were number 19th in the nation. They swept them 4-0 as they continue Big 12 play against Kansas State and the Lady Jayhawks before moving into the Big 12 championships the weekend after. OU's women's gym, I gave an update. They have not played yet, but they will play this weekend in the NCAA semis in Fort Worth at Dickens Arena. Can we get some boots in the arena, boots on the ground from the Dallas Crew.
Yeah, you guys should go.
If there's anyone who should go to Fort Worth, I think we know who it should
Yeah,
be.
what time does the tournament kick off? Do you think maybe you could like an overnight in Fort Worth?
Is it before your dinner and before then your flight at 6?
So it's I believe
confused by the timing.
I want to say it's Friday or Saturday. I'll have to double check which date. It actually might be all weekend. I'll double check and get back to you guys. But I expect all of us Dallas boys to be there.
I will be in Europe, but hold down the fort for me.
Okay. Thanks for the small flex. Thank you, Tyson. All right. Good luck to the OU women's gym this weekend. Moving on to the premier program right now is OU's women's softball, improving to 36-1 with an absolute sweep, 2 sweeps in a row of Big 12 play, sweeping Texas Tech 3-0, 6-0, and 7-0. Fun fact, the first game against Texas Tech, they used a different pitcher every single inning.
They use 7 pitchers.
Inning. That is correct math, Tyson. I'm super proud of you.
Thank you.
7 pitchers to try to mess with the OU's lineup. Honestly, not a bad strategy to stop the hot bats. Again, OU only got 3 runs in that game, but that did not hold true for the next 2 games. But a very similar strategy. What do you guys think of using a pitcher or using a new pitcher every inning?
It's brilliant. You got to try something.
I love the guts to try something completely new and wild. Like, do most teams even have 7 pitchers?
That's what I was thinking. I think OU's only got like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And we only use really 3 or 4.
So they must be throwing people out there that like can pitch, but are not like probably designated pitchers. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But like that seems like a lot to have like in the dugout, just ready to go.
Yeah. Mark, what do you think?
I think if you have the arms, you use them. We've seen like the Astros do things similarly in previous years where they just have more arms. Are the best. They just have more arms than other teams do. I think it's something that you absolutely take advantage of. It's really like the logical endpoint of shortening rotations, or I guess lengthening rotations, right? Is everyone gets an inning, right? And just bring your absolute best stuff. If you've got the bodies to do it, then brilliant. Like Pat said, why not?
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, it's something that you can do in softball too, because you can always bring the pitchers back in, right? When you pull them, you can always put them back in. Like you can't do that in baseball. So like,
I did not know that.
That is like, that's a big, like something big to take advantage of in softball. So I like it. I think Patty is going to know that was probably taken aback by that at first, or maybe was, and then from here on out is never going to be taken aback by that again. It's going to be like prepared and ready to go.
When you're the number 1 team, you're always going to get the other team's best effort. They're going to come up with unique ways to come at you. So I thought it was a brilliant strategy. It obviously ended up not working, but they did hold the Sooners only to 3 runs that game. So maybe some other teams take that in consideration if they have the ability. But you know who doesn't have a pitching problem? That's OU women's softball. Nicole May, Jordy Ball, Alex. These girls are absolutely dealing. Nicole May in the 3rd game had 7 strikeouts in 5 innings. This pitching staff just continues to dominate the opposition. It's relentless. No matter who you're facing, whether it's a transfer in Alex from Michigan coming in, girls cannot get bats. And even if they do, the defense steps up and makes meaningful plays at the right times. It is a best 1-2 combo that really softball is doing this year with their batting and with their pitching and defense. So as they'll continue that, they actually play right now tonight. I'm not sure if anyone can look up an updated score, but they are playing the Louisiana State LSU in Baton Rouge tonight. So
isn't LSU pretty good?
Yeah, they're ranked number 12 currently. So it should be a good matchup there tonight. And we should know, obviously, the score by the time the pod comes out. Moving on to the men's side, men's gym will be competing in their NCAA qualifier in University Park, Pennsylvania. They will play their opponents. I know I mentioned them last week, but I got up here too. So they're going to be coming in as a number 2 seed for the tournament, and they will play number 3 Michigan, number 6 Penn State, number 7 Ohio State, number 10 California, and number 11 Springfield. So good luck to the men and women's gym as they compete for the NCAA championship upcoming. Men's tennis goes to 12-9. They beat OSU and 6-1, and they will play Baylor and Texas Tech before they head into the Big 12 championships this weekend themselves. Baseball continues to play pretty flat. They're 17-16 overall. Beat ORU 12-2, but then lost the 3-game series to Baylor 10-6, won 6-3, but lost the third game 5-3, and they will take on Wichita State before a 3-game series against Texas Tech. So those are all the updates I have on Circle the Wagons. I'll be back next week.
As an update, current score right now, Oklahoma 3, LSU 0, bottom of the fourth.
Yeah, Jordan Ball's slinging it. She's
Hold
slinging
this. Hold this, LSU. Moving on, Matt, little fun little segment I dropped in here. On his yearly bus tour of Wisconsin, which I found out that they do this year. Very cool thing, by the way. Very cool idea. Packers president Mark Murphy was asked about the possibility of trading Aaron Rodgers and what the holdup is. Quoted as saying to ESPN's Rob Demovsky, Mark Murphy says, I can't really get into that. I know Brian and Joe have been talking. I would really like to just get your sense on the whole situation, Matt. Floor is yours. How are you feeling right now? What do the Packers need to get back for you to feel like it was enough?
I mean, at this point, I'm just ready. I'm ready to move on, right? I'm ready to rip the Band-Aid off and move on to the next quarterback in line, Jordan Love, because this is only going to create more distractions and more drama for the team right now, knowing that he obviously made his intentions clear almost well over a month ago at this point, that he was going to play for the New York Jets. Now, again, logistics just don't make sense. His cap space is $50 million, so we have to get rid of him, so we have no leverage. But also, we're not going to give him up for nothing. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's won MVP 2 of the last 3 years and still has probably quite a few years left in the tank and would make the Jets pretty much a Super Bowl contender built, based on their roster and the moves they've been making in the offseason. So we're not just going to let him go for free. But also, if we keep him on the roster, that's $50+ million in dead cap for the most part. So it's a very hard line. I know he gets asked the question every single day, when is the deal going to be done? I'm not too worried about it. I'm sure they will. It's just more of a distraction for the current team and us just trying to move on. So I'm ready to move on as well.
Is it a priority for you to get the trade finished before this year's NFL draft so that the picks are for this year's draft instead of next year's draft? Is it important to you to improve the team right now?
I mean, ideally, that's what you would want, but it also depends on what the Jets were willing to give up. I know I've seen reports that they were going after the Jets' 13th pick in this year's draft.
Never in a million years.
Yeah, they're not willing to give that up. So ideally, you would want picks for this draft to start building around Jordan Love and what the new team is going to look like. But again, I'm not in the front office. I'm not sure what they are looking for at this point, but I would hope they would get something in return for a guy who's well worth it. But, we'll see what ends up happening. I would hope ideally before the season, he would be gone.
I'm thinking like a 3rd-round pick, like the Matt Ryan deal.
Yeah, I mean, that would suck, but
there's no market.
Yeah.
Or if there is, then man, it sucks to be the Jets, right?
Yeah, it's just what are you going to do when you have no leverage, And the Packers have said that they might not get rid of him if the deal is not to their liking. So
is he just gonna play next year though for the Packers after he was like,
I don't think he sits at home.
Yeah,
he sits at home if that happens.
Probably.
I've made my intention.
I don't think the Packers do that. I don't think the Packers let that happen either, though. I think at some point they're going to take what they get.
Yeah, $50 million really hurts.
Yeah,
it really hurts because you can't pay other people. So
yeah. Packers
we'll see.
Lost this.
Yeah, the way that this thing is dragging out, it just makes me think I really need something to watch during my downtime, waiting for the Aaron Rodgers news to hit.
That's right.
Ryan, Do you think that you have any suggestions
Oh my
for what we must watch this week?
Ryan, cut it.
I was gonna cut it this week, but I can do it if you guys want me to.
Oh, are you going to cut it? Do you want to cut it?
Well, I mean, we're running out of time right now, and I feel like
We're
got
not
a good...
really, but we can cut it. If
Let's
you
save
not.
it. I'll save it for when I get back to Europe because I need. So I'll intro it here, and I'm going to talk about it in 2 weeks, and you guys should go watch it.
Yeah, we'll
And
go watch it. How about that?
I haven't mentioned it.
We
to
might
you guys.
watch it.
Well, let me know if it's. I'll see if it's dumb.
He got a
first,
little.
but
He
we'll
got a
see.
little New York accent in there. Did you hear that?
I heard it. Hey, I'm walking over here.
Hi.
It's called Beef, and it's on Netflix.
Beefy.
And just go into it blind. Like, it's the story that it's about is insane, but go into it blind. Watch it. 30-minute episodes, 10 episodes. Very easy to watch. It's a little weird, but it's really, really good. So highly recommend that. I'll talk about it in a couple weeks.
Great.
We're actually currently watching Waco American Apocalypse, the docuseries.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it's
man.
fantastic.
With all the church stuff.
Yeah,
Like
I guess
yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
it's not
It's
not
cult,
like
about the cult.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's the cult.
Yeah.
It's the cult,
Yeah.
but it's a documentary, not like a live action thing.
Yeah,
And they have some true believers in there, and like that's the kind of shit that I get way into. So, yeah, big fan of that. In that case, hey, no must watch. You're off the hook this week, guys. Program guys, MVP of the week. What do we got going here, Matt Gann?
Yeah, I'm saving my MVP for last. I think you guys are going to want to hear it. So I'm going to hand it off to Patrick.
What?
To
This
give
is not
his-
something that people just do.
yeah. You know
His
what? I
MVP.
would like to hand mine off to Ryan.
Okay, I'll go. Mine is TV related, so this kind of segues in perfectly. I'm giving my MVP to this most recent episode of Succession on HBO. It is probably the best episode of television I have seen in over 5 years of my life. It is incredible. Do not go watch it unless you are caught up on Succession, but very, very good. I just need to give that a shout out. Oh, are we like popcorning now? Mark, is it
Yeah,
your
we are.
turn?
Oh, I'm gonna hand mine off to Patrick.
All right, yeah, I've got Manchester City who beat Bayern Munich 3-0 today.
Ooh,
Yeah,
That's
Bayern.
tough.
Bayern's GM. I don't know if you guys know this, but they fired their coach randomly, brought in a new and better coach, but the other coach didn't deserve to be fired. This new and better coach has now lost in 2 cup games, so their GM just sucks.
wow.
A lot of
And a
Chelsea
lot of the
energy
German
right there.
players, a lot of the German players on the Bayern team, I just want their careers to be completely over after their embarrassing last 2 World Cups. So I'm just glad City came in and beat the crap out of them.
All right,
All
I'll
right.
go next since we're waiting on Matt to bring us up in the rear. My MVP this week is going to be Falcons GM Terry Fontenot. What an excellent offseason this guy has had looking ahead to the NFL draft. I could go through the entire list, but the ones that just come to mind immediately is getting Jeffrey Okudah today for a 5th-round pick. That's a reclamation project on a former number 3 overall pick at corner. 3 years ago, he was in the 2020 draft. Easy decision to me. Go get a guy with talent and see if you can build him into a quality number 2 across from AJ Terrell. Sign Jesse Bates, sign David Onyemata, traded for Jonnu Smith. No one ran more 2 and 3 tight end sets than the Falcons last year. Jonnu Smith had his best season ever playing for Arthur Smith in Tennessee. Terry Fontenot knows what he's doing, and he set the Falcons up in a perfect position to go any direction they want to go in the draft at the end of this month, and I'm very excited to see what they do. I think they're probably done signing anyone until that time, but you never know, man. That it's a fun season. So my MVP, Falcons GM, Terry Fontenot. Matthew Gann, bring up our rear, baby.
Yo, I think this is going to make Mason proud because I'm about to go on an all-time rant, and I hope you guys know
we
where I'm
love
I mean,
going.
if Mason's still with us, we don't know. He could have stopped listening by now.
You know,
That's
the best
true.
thing about all my favorite all-time rants is they start by claiming they'll be all-time rants.
Yeah.
That's right. My MVP is the Oklahoma City Thunder basketball team. Everyone thought this team was freaking dead. Dead. They were wrong. Oklahoma City Thunder clinched the final play-in spot this week. And let me tell you something. This team was projected to win 23 games, one of the worst records in the NBA this season. They win 38 games and make it into the playoffs. They were the youngest team in the NBA. They're just year 3 into the rebuild, 2 years after making the playoffs with Russell Westbrook and Paul George. And they're still missing the number 2
2
pick.
years?
2 years. 2 years. That's right. You heard that right, Mark.
Okay, so Russ
2
plays a full
years.
season with the Rockets, right? Then the next
They are
year he
missing
plays a
the
full
number
season
2
with the
draft
Wizards.
pick,
And then
Chet
this year he
Holmgren.
signs with the Lakers. No, actually he plays a full season last year with the Lakers and now is a Clipper. It's been 4 years.
He's now a Clipper. Yeah.
So
4 years.
3 NBA seasons, 4 years technically, if you want to go down that route. Thank you, Mark, because 2020 was the playoffs, the COVID bubble. 2021 is the rebuild. 2022 is tanking. 2023,
That's
the
4
play-in.
seasons. Okay, go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
Either way, everyone thought this team was dead, including you, Mark. I know I lost the battle, but there is not a shot in hell that Houston over the next 5 years is going to be better than this team, who's currently missing the number 2 draft pick. They have Jalen Williams, who should be the rookie of the year, but they're going to give it to freaking Paulo Banchero because he's the only person on the Magic that can play for them. Jalen Williams,
Franz Wagner.
SGA, all these guys, Lou Dort, Josh Giddey, who's not even 21
Lou
right
Dort?
now. This team is going to be so much better than the Houston Rockets. My MVP, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
They won't be, but really great job. Solid fake mic drop. I really enjoyed it. You really, really dedicate yourself to the things that you say, Matt. And I really love that about you.
Did Matt leave?
Is he just gone?
That's right. The Thunder are not dead. They're going to the playoffs.
You gotta
Let me hear it
come
for
off
the
your mic a little
Thunder.
bit if you're trying to make a.
I did see what you did there. You pulled a Mason, like how you started that whole bit. Is that why you like? Were
Is that what
saying
you wanted to
Mason's
wait
going to
till
be
the
proud of
end?
you?
I'm really confused.
Yeah,
You could have
I
done
love
that at any time.
Did you
don't
guys
have to
realize
wait
that that
till
was
the end.
like a Mason bit?
Yeah,
I mean, he
for
said
Mason.
Mason's going to be proud of me for this, but then he went off on a tangent that like had nothing to do with Mason, so I got a little confused. But you know,
No, it was just really the dead
Um,
part. The dead part. That was really it. Yeah. That was it.
the dead part.
Yeah,
What dead
the
part?
homage.
part.
Yeah, like the Dolphins
Oh,
are
they
homage?
thought they
Dolphins
were
are dead.
Yeah.
The homage?
Oh, yeah.
Is that how you say that word? The homage?
Yo,
Here we
let's
go,
not-
guys.
I do this too.
And
I did it
hey,
today.
let me just go around the horn real quick. This is the first time in NBA history that no team from Texas made the playoffs. That's right. The San Antonio Spurs, the Houston Rockets, and the Dallas Mavericks.
Really?
That's right. None of them
Yep.
made it.
That was
Hey,
the
and
first
guess what?
time.
San Antonio is number 2 in the lottery rankings. Houston 3. Same
Means
same
they're
record.
tied for 14.
Same record. I know. I
And
know.
they're tied at 14%. The only pick that matters is one. Scoot is
know,
fine. Victor's the only thing that matters.
Victor is the only thing that matters. And
If your sport
Detroit
needs a lottery, you just like you've already lost. What is this?
Well,
Ask-
it's there to de-incentivize
I-
tanking
Well, I have a question
because you can get a
question,
player like
because-
Victor.
Right, because there's no relegation.
because Victor is
Silly.
unbelievable. With Gan, should we be giving Oklahoma City credit or should we be giving the Dallas Mavericks credit for tanking at the very end?
No, Oklahoma City all the way. They wanted to be in. They proved themselves. SGA is going to be first team All NBA, and Jalen Williams should be the rookie of the year, but they're going to give it to Paulo.
Wait,
There's
so
just no
wait,
way that he should
the
be.
Mavs didn't
Paolo's,
make
like,
the
led that team.
No,
Mavs
the
didn't make the
Mavs didn't make
playoffs.
the
But Paulo,
playoffs.
so SGA is the number one guy. Jalen Williams should win. If he was the only guy on Oklahoma City Thunder, Jalen Williams would win MVP because based on advanced statistics, if we're including defensive metrics, what they don't typically do in the NBA routers.
Advanced statistics.
Correct.
Advanced
Jalen
defensive
Williams is better than
statistics.
Paulo in every single defensive category, but Paulo's the only guy on the Magic, so he's going to be the focal point. Jalen Williams doesn't have to be that, yet he is still proven himself to be Rookie of the Year. That's all I have to say. He's a rising star.
He's had a great year. He's had a very great year. In better news, the Rockets are looking for a new head coach. They've asked to interview Golden State's Kenny Atkinson, Toronto's someone, Ime Udoka, and they're waiting to see if Nick Nurse leaves so that they can secure an interview with him. Y'all have any thoughts on that? Patrick, you're a fellow Rockets fan, sort of sometimes.
All the time. Rockets are my number one NBA team.
What does that even mean, though?
I do want Nick.
He doesn't even know how to respond.
No, they're my number one NBA team.
It's funny because you do say you want Nick, but you went through a roller coaster.
I did.
Nick
On first glance, I forgot that he had won an NBA championship already. I didn't see that right away. But besides that, he's been there a long time. What?
The Kawhi season.
Right, exactly. But besides that, I mean, I don't know, kind of bland, right?
Oh, see, I would be very excited if Nick Nurse was the option.
No, I think so.
He runs these funky, like everyone's taller than 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" lineups, and other than Jalen Green, everyone currently that matters is taller than that. So I think they could do some very fun things, especially when you put Victor in the middle of it all too. 14% Nick Nurse is going to be great for Victor Wembanyama.
14%.
I'm just upset that we've kept Silas this long. That doesn't compute in my head.
So it's all about the timeline. Basically, Houston has owned its picks up until this point, and so it's actually behooved us to be bad, to have worse records and get those picks. Next season, they start conveying to the Thunder if they're worse than the Thunders. So expect for next season to be the year that we kind of turn it on, right? James Harden's going to come back to town. We're going to draft Victor Wembanyama, and we're going to absolutely dominate Oklahoma City in every single matchup we have.
I do think that's
if
very
you think
possible.
Nick Nurse is the answer, you're absolutely wrong. But good luck to the Houston Rockets for winning less than 20 games this year. They will continue to win less than 20 games. If they do get James Harden, that probably adds.
Probably won 28 games.
No, they won 22 games.
Yeah,
They tied with the
Whatever
Spurs.
it is.
What are
We
you
had a
doing
good-
out
we
here?
had a good
What are
last
you doing out here throwing out these random?
Not just lying.
18, 22 games. Who gives a damn?
I also
Oklahoma City
don't
in the
think-
playoffs. Dunk on that. Dunk on that.
Youngest team in the NBA. Oh, it actually
Thunder.
is.
I
Oh,
think it's
they
Oklahoma
entered
City.
the season that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Hey,
Well, did
that's
they end the
cool.
season that way?
I don't know.
This team's going to be
It's just-
contenders for a long time. They're so
They'll all be a
gosh,
year
we got the
older.
head coach.
And somehow
Nothing to worry about.
It's
And
going to be
we got more picks coming up.
5 years.
Preview of the NBA's future.
it's
Easy.
going to be rowdy when SGA wants out and signs in New York or something.
He's already signed a deal to stay in Oklahoma City, so I don't know what you're smoking.
Yeah, I mean, didn't Aaron Rodgers sign a deal last year to be in Green Bay?
NBA and NFL contracts are completely different, so don't even get me started.
NBA contracts where people ask out the moment they sign deals.
Maybe if you're an all-star like Kevin Durant, sure, but SGA's not on that level. Yeah, he's getting there.
SGA
He
is
should-
an all-star. He was an all-star this year.
Correct. His first all-star. He should get all-NBA vote as well, easily for his
All right.
year.
Who do you guys think
All
will
right.
win
Love
the NBA
birds.
this year?
The Bucks. Give me the Bucks.
Lovebirds. We gotta wrap this up.
No,
Yeah.
we're staying here. Anyways, guys, that wraps it up. Mark, take us out.
What
Anyways,
is he
I
doing?
forgot to say it again at the beginning of the episode, but
Mark, hey, no one's here. You don't even gotta say it.
no,
No
I'm
one's
gonna say
still
it. I'm gonna
here.
do this. People are here. Shut up, guys. We thank you so much for joining us for episode 66 of the Program Guys podcast. As always, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, anywhere you can find us. You can find us on Facebook, the Program Guys, something like that, Program Guys Podcast, on Twitter at Program
Something like
Guys, on Instagram at Program Guys. We are everywhere you could possibly look to find us, Program Guys with a Z. That is going to be all that we have for you today. We miss you, Mason. We look forward to your return. Patrick, take us out.